Right, why am I on a wonk? It's so wonky. Agnes, why is it wonky? Right, are we there? We're there? Am I straight or am I wonky? I'm always wonky. Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Project Bag podcast. On the show for you this week, I have a finished object to talk about and 3 new whips. Despite the fact I had over 40 on the needles, shocker, I have managed to cast on 3 new things, including a test knit. I also have some acquisitions to talk about because Magnus and I went on a bit of a road trip to Scotland, visiting the likes of Lisa and Katie and Marcus for the Love of Yarn, Celia McWheely's shop in Glasgow, and of course the gorgeous Fiberpunk. Hi, welcome back. It is the first official episode of 2020. Welcome to 2020. I know I've already released one since the new year, but I recorded that in pieces throughout December. So I don't count that one. New year, same me, new start to the podcast, nothing really changing. I don't go in for all that resolution nonsense. I don't know about you. If this is your first time stumbling across the podcast, welcome. Hope you've got some knitting or crochet or sewing, whatever takes you fancy, while you have me nattering away at you. Possibly a beverage of some description. I can't find it. Where's it gone? I looked up to the mantelpiece to get my cup from where it sits, and it's not there. Oh, it's there. That's because it's there. Hooray! I have made myself a cappuccino from my cappuccino machine because I'm posh like that. Oh, not really. My mother-in-law bought it for us years ago, and I found some pods, and I thought, oh, why not? Why not? Let's. This year I turned 33, which makes me feel positively middle-aged. So I thought I'd have a go at this adulting malarkey. Being organised, getting back on the podcast again, once a fortnight maybe, on a Monday. I've cleaned the house today. I've reorganised our mortgage last Monday. I mean, who am I? What am I? I'm looking dangerously like an adult. Anyway, in my Project Bag Logo mug, I have a cappuccino, which actually, I mean, I'm all for posh coffee and everything, and a good coffee is a good coffee. I appreciate a good coffee. You may think I don't need coffee. We shall see. But it's about that full, and that seems a bit miserable to me. I guess I'm not really a cappuccino girl. I don't see the point in an espresso at all. Absolutely not. But anyway, cheers. So this is my podcast where I sit and talk to you about all things crafty, mostly focusing on the fibre arts. My blog is more multi-craftual, and so is the Facebook group. All of the links I am actually genuinely really going to put just down there for you. If you know, you know. If you're a longer term viewer of the podcast and you are still coming back for this, thank you. It's not really else I could say, is there, when you come back for the nonsense week after week, month after month, year after year. We are now in our 3rd calendar year of the Project Bag podcast. Wow. I mean, it's our 2nd year officially, but it's spanning the 3rd calendar year now. I started in summer of 2018 and we are now in spring of 2020. Holy moly. I was really impressed with where the podcast had gone and how it's developed. I was pleased with my video editing skills that I've gained. It's a labour of love doing this. I am a qualified technoprat. My IT teacher, Mr. Thomas, in year 9 said to me, don't take this any further, Gemma. Don't pursue this. There is no point. But here I am using social media and video editing and all of this sort of thing for a living practically, because obviously it's all part of my job. So there we go, Mr. Thomas. Take that with my overlays and my background music fading out and transitions. I digress. I thought I'd got onto something really good. I thought I was really developing my skills. And then my husband started streaming, and he wanted some help learning how to video edit. So I showed him the basics of Adobe. And then I got home and he had this 47-second video, which was epic. It had like special fonts and things flashing and sliding, and it looked like some sort of extreme gamer cinematic. I said well done, mostly not looking like I was sucking a lemon. Anyway, it's been a fun journey, but here we are, new year, podcast is the same old nonsense. I did actually do a poll last night and say, you know, what would people like to see if I record a podcast? And it's the same old stuff, really. Magnus, outtakes, I can definitely provide some of those for you today. Spoiler alert. 9 minutes recorded and I think about 3 minutes usable, so we could be here a while if this carries on. My oldest whip, ha ha ha, nonsense, and lots of cuddles meaning colour. So yeah, same old. You want the same old me, I am more than happy to give you the same old me. I don't go for resolution malarkey. However, last year I had a word of the year, which was grit, and this year my word is balance. We shall see how I manage it as we go forward. Right, yeah, I think that's everything at the moment. Let's crack on with the actual podcast itself. First things first is I have a finished object. Yes, I do. I have started doing little quick things for the shop. I kind of need a little win, you know. For those of you who don't know, as well as having the project bag, which is my hand-dyed yarn company, I also run a yarn shop in Faversham in Kent. It's absolutely beautiful. I am very, very proud of it. I have a fantastic team around me that we've built up over the past 8-9 months or so. I think it's 8 months now, and I absolutely adore it. So I'm very, very lucky to have not one but 2 jobs that I really enjoy. And there is a child looking in the window because I've got the studio lights up. I'm very lucky to have 2 jobs that I love, and I get to knit for both of them. Hooray, win! So I picked up a ball of Croft tweed, which is Shetland yarn. It's by West Yorkshire Spinners. Reared, speared, sheared and spun in Yorkshire, I think is their tagline. And I created a coffee cozy. I don't actually have it to hand. I sent it in pieces because I wasn't entirely sure where the button bands needed to go for the coffee percolator we have to the shop. But I have a picture which I'm going to put up here. It's a really, really easy pattern. It is a free pattern. At this precise moment in time, I have completely forgotten where I got it from. It also comes with little mug cozies. And can we just talk about faux cables? I love them. Okay, so faux cables, pretend cables, mock cables, however you want to call them, are just a thing of absolute beauty. This coffee percolator looks like I have spent a long time knitting lots and lots of cables to wrap around a coffee pot. And you would be forgiven for thinking, why, Gemma? Have you gone completely stark raving mad? Why does your coffee pot warrant so many cables? But they're not. They're pretend cables. They are pretend cables and they are fast and they are brilliant and I love them. But I will also be doing a quick video tutorial if you are interested in taking you through more step by step. So in a traditional cable, you would slip some stitches onto a needle, hold it to the back or the front of the work, depending which way you want your cables to lean, knit from the working needle and then knit from the spare needle. And it twists the stitches, it literally crosses them over. In faux cables, you do some knitting 2 together and re-knitting, and it's just genius, completely addictive. And I think that's why I got that coffee pot thing done so quickly. Because it's not that I am not capable of finishing all my whips, although actually no, maybe I'm not now. There are 50 of them. This could take me a very, very, very long time. Yeah. But it's not that I'm not capable of finishing my whips. I think it's that I'm just not interested enough. And the absolute sheer joy of discovering this new to me technique, it's ever so simple. It's not, rocket science, but it was so joyous that I just cracked on and did it, and it was brilliant. So that is at the moment in pride of place in our shop window. The theme for the shop window for January is après ski, which, if you're not familiar, is that very kind of lovely bit after you go down the slopes. I've never gone down the slopes. Oh no, have I? I did a dry slope thing, I think, with my parents once, but I was too scared, so I just sat in this giant kind of donut thing and slid down, and I found that terrifying. Après ski is much more me. You sit around in your lodges, your chalets, by the fire, all cozy, all snuggled up in big thick knits with big slippers and hot chocolate, or something a little bit more grown up. That I'm there for. If anyone needs a skiing companion to come on their skiing holiday and just be in charge of the hot chocolate and the coziness, I'm your girl. DM me, email, it's right there. What would I do if someone actually offered me that? Good grief. No, totally there for that. So my coffee pot is there. Hooray! Okay, so on to whips. Now, works in progress. I genuinely thought that I had maybe 30. I knew that in the summer when I was poorly, I got it right the way down to 20 in the early 20s. And to me, that felt like there was nothing there. However, before Christmas, I decided to start sorting out my life, sorting out my home. It's not easy juggling 2 full-time jobs. And the home and doing all these sorts of things, and of course, a new puppy and all the things, basically life. And it got on top of me, as it does for lots of people. So I decided to sort everything out, and one of the things I decided to tackle was organising my whips and putting them into project bags and having them some sort of coherent order so I knew what was what. I started doing this, and then on Christmas Day, my friend Julia, who hosted the last bit of the last episode with me, she came over for Christmas dinner and she said, I've brought you some spare project bags because I think you need them. The great irony of the project bag not having enough project bags isn't lost on me. Don't you worry. But she bought some round and she said, come on, let's get this done. So while the Christmas dinner was in the oven, husband was playing with the dog, watching, sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Watching something on YouTube. We were upstairs in my bedroom sorting out my whips. And it turns out I actually it's 50 because I've cast on another one because of, why can't I say this? Waltham Abbey Woolfest. Yeah, I didn't have anything portable in my yarn that I could take with me, and I wanted a project in my yarn. I think it's fair enough. So I now technically have 50 whips. I don't know how it got to that stage. And I kind of think that I need to get them done. I'm not going to talk to you about all 50. I'm actually going to talk to you today about 3 new Garstons that you haven't seen. They were not all cast on when we counted them. I had 49. Yeah, let's go through this. I had 49 whips. I finished the coffee percolator, so that took me down to 48. I frogged the granny stripe blanket that I'd started before Christmas, so that took me down to 47. But then I started the granny stripe blanket again, back up to 48. I cast on a test knit for Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. She's got a fantastic podcast. She's a very talented designer and dyer. And then on Sunday, because we were going to Waltham Abbey Wool Festival, wool show, I wanted something in my yarn that was portable to take with me and I didn't really need a pattern for, so I cast on a sock. So that takes me up to 50. I'm Gemma and I have 50 whips. I am not going to do what I've seen someone do, which is to destash their whips. That is a little bit extreme. I'm not at that stage yet. So yeah, let's talk about some of the whips. Oh, before I do, I want to just talk about what I'm wearing, because I haven't actually worn this yet because it was a show sample. Look at this. This is, and I can't for the life of me remember what the name of the colourway is, which is driving me bananas. It's my own colourway, but I can't remember what it's called. As for my spring into summer collection, is this? It's not Tropicana, it's not Georgia Peach, it's like it. What was it called? Oh, fiddlesticks. Anyway, I really like it. It's got really delicate speckles of pinks and oranges and teals and blues in there. And this was done for me by Lou, and it was a test knit for Brixton Pearl, I want to say. This fantastic shawl. It's like a table runner shape, which I say, and that is not offensive at all. It's literally a table runner shape with pointed ends, and she's put on a pom-pom, which I just love. So the pom-poms from my yarn as well. And the pom-poms are fantastic. I'm not usually a pom-pom or tassel sort of girl, but these are great because it gives it some weight and helps it stay down. But I love this because you can wear it like a shawl, or it's really easy to just bundle up and wear it like a scarf. So you can see how easy that is to wear. Right, so that's what I'm wearing. I'm now immediately too hot, so I might take it off, but thank you, Lou, for doing that. I'm in the process of considering what yarns from my various spring but seasonal collections to keep. The idea was that obviously the seasonal collections were seasonal, but I've kind of fallen in love with some of the colourways and I'm trying to find a loophole. Right, anyway, WiPs. I'm going to start by showing you my favourite WiP that is giving me so much joy, and I took to Scotland with me and it got the most love in Scotland. This is my Magic Ball of Joy, which I created using a tutorial from what's her name? Katie, Inside Number 23 podcast. She did Vlogtober in 2018. And in one of them, she did a tutorial on how to do your magic knot ball so that you don't have lots and lots of ends to weave in. Thank you, Katie. You're amazing. I'll link to it below. So I wound all my Advent minis, apart from the last one, which was actually a full ball of yarn, into this magic ball. And I started with day 24 and worked backwards so that when I'm crocheting, I am then starting with day 1. So I haven't touched this since I got back from Scotland, so it could be a little bit disastrous. I'm just going to flash you some of the colours first. Whoops. I think the one I'm using at the moment is the Sleek It Hair, and I just love that as a name. Where's it gone? Right. Okay, so here we are. Here are the colours I've got so far. I've only done 4 days. So this is Love Bugs Yarns. This one here is really super special, this green with the teal with the purple. It's a Fibre Punk one, and it is the one he created his own pair of Lara's Legacy socks in. So that means that's such a lot to have in this. Not sure what this one in the middle is. This one here. Come on, where's your focus? There we go. But this one up here is the Sleek It Hair. So I had a bit of a kerfuffle with this one. I wanted it to be long enough to cover a double bed. No one who has done this pattern in the podcasting world certainly seems to have actually written down accurately how many chains they did to start this pattern. It's from the blog of Attic24. Fantastic blog. I've learnt so much from that. So I did sort of 250. I thought, no, that's nowhere near enough. So then I did 300, and I knew that some people had said they thought they'd done about 300 and a bit. I don't know. I ended up doing 450. The idea was that it would cover a double bed with us in it, and we'd be cosy. Well, it's so long that Alan and I could have a row, be sleeping in different postcodes and still be toasty. It's a little bit long. You ready for this? We need like that magician pulling things out of his sleeve. You ready for this? Right, okay, ready. Whoop. Da, 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 da. There is no way I can get this on the screen. In fact, even if I fold it in half, I can't get it all on the screen for you. Actually, to get it on the screen, I have to fold it into quarters. It's kind of big. It's kind of big. But do you know what? I absolutely love it. I had some Tales of Woe with this one. I cast on, I did my foundation chain, and then and then Lucy has you crochet into it, fine. But I discovered that my foundation chain was too tight. So I had a very tight curving in bottom and a floppy top. I could have said that better. The bottom was under too much strain and it was pulling in. And because the top was looser, it was becoming frilly. So in the end, I did a few rows and it was really bugging me. I put it to the vote. I asked my Instagram followers what they thought, and they said, undo it, just undo it. So I did, and I redid the bottom, which is this turquoise, which is actually from Verity of Truly Hooked, one of her minis, on a 5 or a 5.5, on a 5, and then I went down to a 3.5, which is my usual crochet hook size for the actual main body. Now actually it's still curving a little. You see that I can hold it straight, but it wants to curve. So if I was to do this again, I would use an even bigger crochet hook foundation chain, or I would look into the chainless foundation, which was recommended to me by a lot of people when I was going, granny stripe foundation chains, I did look at it, but I was staying with family over well, not over Christmas, over New Year, and I wouldn't have been able to concentrate well enough to learn a new skill, but it is definitely on my list to learn as we go forward. So that is my granny stripe. I shall now put a progress keeper in, and then in a few weeks, a month or so, I'm not going to show it to you every week because that's dead boring, I will show you how much progress I have made. Okay, so whip number 2 is another new cast on. This time we're moving away from crochet and we're going to Colorwork knitting. I follow Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. I followed her on Instagram for a while. I've watched her podcast on and off for a while. I don't watch it every time, but whenever it comes up on my feed, I watch it. I think she's really talented. She does lots of Colorwork yoke design, all around a theme, and actually she has a dog herself called Gypsy, an absolutely beautiful puppy. I think she's a year or so now, maybe a bit older, and she started designing yoked sweaters for her pup, and she was after testers for some of her puppy sweaters, and Magnus was very lucky. He was given a sweater by my friend Roz, who is a very talented knitter. She works at the shop, and he's outgrown it already. So I thought, well, he needs a new hand knit jumper, and Magnus loves yarn. He doesn't often shop, but when he does, he's also got quite good taste. So for this project, it's the Frozen Fractal sweater, and if you know your Frozen Disney film and you'll let it go, you'll know that Frozen Fractal is actually a line from the Disney film, from Frozen. And Magnus chose all by himself this beautiful mid-rich blue which is the West Yorkshire Spinners Croft colours. And he chose this pale Falkland merino Aran in a pale blue from Debbie Bliss, and they just look really good together. And he chose, it's an Aran weight pattern, and he'd already chosen the yarn. So this works out really well, and it just needs one skein of each. So I'm really pleased with this. I started it, progress has been held up because I haven't been able to knit much because he's been quite poorly. But oh my God, I love Colorwork. I only started Colorwork for the first time in 2018. I started my first ever Colorwork, which were the Selbury Mittens by Ellie of Skein Deer Knits. And I just found them really addictive. It took me ages to do the second mitten because, well, I get bored. It's not that I was boring a pattern, there was another squirrel I was chasing by that point. And then I did the Simpler Sinister sweater very quickly this summer as a sample for Perth Festival of Yarn in my yarns. And I really enjoyed it, but starting this, I'm like, I really, really like Colorwork. Here we are. Here it is so far. It's quite little. I haven't got very far on it, but he has tried it on. It does fit. I'm about to go on. On the second chart repeat, so there's going to be another motif there. But how sweet does that look? I absolutely love it. There is a photo of him trying it on. I'll pop it here. And if you follow me on Instagram and follow Megan Bad Wolf Gossets and Knits, you will probably see lots of pictures as things progress. I'm not going to try it on him now because he's fast asleep. He stopped snoring, so maybe I'm not boring him quite so much anymore. But we'll see. So that's the Frozen Fractal. Absolutely love it. I would recommend Colorwork to anyone. There was something I overheard at the show actually yesterday, and it surprised me. Someone said that someone was commenting on a jumper. It was a beautiful Colorwork sweater. She said, "Oh, that's beautiful. That's really lovely. I'd love to be able to make something like that. I'm not really a knitter." And the person wearing the jumper went, "Well, this is Colorwork, so it probably would be too hard for you." And I felt quite uncomfortable about that. I'd be interested to hear what you think. I felt uncomfortable because actually Colorwork is dead simple. Dead simple. If you have done colour by numbers, paint by numbers, if you've done cross stitch, it's just following a chart and picking up one thread and dropping another. It really isn't all that difficult. I mean, I know this is only 2 colours all over, but Colorwork typically only uses 2 colours a row anyway. So it's a case of just picking one up or the other. What do you think? Do you think Colorwork is some upper echelon mystical thing? I mean, it's definitely magical. I love it. I want to do all the Colorwork things now, and I don't know why I was so scared of it. But, you know, if someone was to say to me, "Oh, I don't think I'm a very good knitter," I wouldn't stop them doing Colorwork. I teach it with my beginners. My beginner course is the cowl, but then my next steps, we do Colorwork, we do Swiss darning, and we do stranded Colorwork, and we do it flat because I mean like that. Let me know what you think. But anyway, Frozen Fractal sweater should be finished by next time I podcast. Don't hold me to that, right? Okay, so the next whip that I'm working on is one for the shop. Now, this is the 5 PM cardigan by Erica Knight. It's going to look gorgeous in our après-ski window. It is also in a beautiful blue, and this is Pantone's colour of the year. It's a beautiful mid blue. It's an Erica Knight pattern, oversized sweater. Not really a lot to say about it. It's knit in pieces, so I'm not looking forward to the seaming. But it's, it's all right. I thought I'd broken a tip, but I haven't. It's just come unscrewed. Okay, so there's nothing really much to say about it. It's pure wool. It's chunky, fluffy. It's a very loose knit. You can't quite see through it, but it is. I mean, this is the smallest size, and it's kind of huge. So it can be really big and cozy and gorgeous. I've been advised by customers not to knit the pockets because where it's such a loose fabric, it can be in danger of looking unfinished. Because your fingers can poke through it. There we go, simple as that. So that's the back. And I've done one front and I'm back to cast on for the other. Not really much to say about that. Hopefully another finished object by next time I see you. We'll see. Okay, so I mentioned that I cast on a sock at Waltham Abbey Wool Show yesterday. I'm not going to show you that because it is a new design, and I am not going to show you that until I'm ready to send it to my tech editor and we are starting to think about actually releasing it. It is going to be part of the Old School Socks collection, and the first pattern in the Old School Socks collection is coming out hopefully this month. My tech editor is editing it during January. So yeah, hopefully by February it'll be out. Watch this space. So on Instagram, as I mentioned earlier, I was asked about my oldest whip. I was asked to talk about that. Now, on Christmas Day, when Julia was helping me sort out my whips and put them into project bags, she also kept a note of what the whips were and what project bags they were in, and a little comment about the project. And this one she put down as oldest whip, and then she put like in brackets in the universe. Blooming cheek, I'm pretty sure there's a mummified whip somewhere or other. This I actually started when I was about 14, so it's coming up to 20 years old nearly. And it's this sweater. It's a Sardar pattern, and I was doing it for my second cousin, who was at the time about 5, She's now grown up with 2 children of her own. Yeah, it's a really simple sweater. I still really like it even now. I know it's a bit dated and a bit 90s, but and the great pity is I'd almost finished it. So let me take it out and show you. This is the back. I don't know, all this fluff is attached to it. Hang on, let me defluff it. There we are. So this is the back, and I was quite neat, I think. Quite a neat stitcher at 14. That's not bad, is it? And I don't know whether, actually, hang on, where's the front? Or maybe it's not nearly finished. But that's one sleeve. And I've started the other sleeve. I did think I'd done the front as well, so I might have to have a hunt and see if there's another bit of the whip somewhere. Maybe there isn't, but I've got enough of the yarn to actually finish the project. I just need to find the white, wherever that's gone. I don't know, why didn't I finish it? I didn't finish it because I was almost there, and then even at such a young age, deadline kicked in. And it was obvious it was going to be too late to give it to Carwyn, but rather than finishing it and having it done so I could give it to someone, you know, I've had a cousin since then, Alexa. She's now 13, so she's too big for it now. I've got a goddaughter, Mia, who potentially could wear it in a couple of years. We'll see. I just stopped working on it, so I'll need to find another white that's the same sort of colour, and it's not an obvious difference, but yeah, I in theory I should just finish this. I'm no good with deadlines, really. If there's a deadline, and they're normally always self-imposed as well, I do it to myself, then I lose all the enthusiasm and all the joy for it. I think because knitting is how I kick back and relax. If you then impose a deadline on it or an obligation on it, then that takes away, well, it takes away the fun, doesn't it? And it makes it a job rather than something that you can kick back and relax with. But there we are. That is my oldest whip, coming up for 20 years old. It's been through a lot with me. It's been through, let's see. Okay, so it's been through 14 house moves with me over the years, and it's survived. It's still intact. It's still in its bag. Get it out from under the puppy butt. I've still got the pattern. I should really get it done. We'll see. Maybe 2020 will be the year the oldest ever whip is cast off, or maybe it will go through the rest of life with me, and it'll be buried with me or something. I don't know. Is that morbid? Well, that's it for creative content. I haven't really been doing anything else. I'm lying to you. I've started a new sock design, which I'm really, really excited about. But yeah, the Lara's Legacy socks. Let me talk to you about those briefly. Thank you to everyone who's bought a pattern so far. If you haven't yet and you're considering it, then please do. I would love to hit my fundraising target for Lara's 2nd birthday, which is on the 11th of February. I'm raising money for Bliss, which is the charity for the newborn. And it helps premature and sick babies, and it helps research into fetal medicine, and actually all the money raised for Lara's Legacy goes directly to the research. It's directed right where it's needed, in her memory, which is amazing. You don't have to have the pattern if you don't want. You could just make a donation to her Just Giving page. I'll put the link down below. And you can read a bit more about Lara and her story. But yeah, 100% of the proceeds go from the pattern to Lara's Legacy. Proceeds means everything other than PayPal fees. PayPal fees and Ravelry I can't do anything about, and I can't make that up myself. So they are taken off, and then everything else goes to the charity. So we're very, very close. Last week we had 82 patterns left to sell in order to make the target of £1,000 raised. This week I think we've sold about 15 more, so I don't know if we're going to make it my target by her birthday, but I'm hoping we'll make it soon. Maybe, you know, within 6 months of the release or something. That could be good. We'll see. But thank you very much to everyone who's bought one. Thank you to Julia for organising Lara along. Prizes were all drawn. There's a bit of hilarity when someone who organises a wool show won the tickets to that same wool show. So we had to redraw that one. But hopefully everyone has got their prizes and is very happy with them. And please do continue to use the hashtag Lara along and show me your finished objects and your patterns, your finished objects and your progress. I just love to see it, and it is actually helping us, seeing all these lovely socks emerging and realizing that all of you are keen to help Lara's legacy. Thank you. It just means the world, really. Okay, so on to general life stuff. It's been busy. Christmas is not easy, as I'm sure. I'm really hot. I'm going to take this off now. Ugh. It's lovely, but it's hot. Christmas is not an easy time of year. It's not an easy time of year for lots of people. We just kind of hunkered down. Jules came over. She hid teaspoons around my house and I still haven't found them all. I deep cleaned the bathroom today and still haven't found any more teaspoons. So I'm slightly worried. There are 3 more to find and I haven't the foggiest where they are. So yeah, feeling a bit concerned about teaspoons. I don't know why she hid them around my house, actually, to be honest with you. I think it's because I never have any teaspoons. And then when we were going through my project bags, we found quite a few teaspoons. But by that point, she'd already bought the teaspoons over. So I'm really not sure as to why she hid the teaspoons. But, you know, it's fun. And occasionally I'm short on spoons. So it's useful to have some spare. She gave us, actually, it's one of the acquisitions I want to talk about. She gave us this fabulous gift. Are you ready for this? Alan and I just melted. Magnus, Muddy Paw Prints since 2019. Isn't that just so cute? And on the back it's, oh, has that happened since? On the back it says, I was born on the 19th of August 2019. I first met you on the 30th of September 2019. I came to live with you forever, 21st of October 2019. And it's, she signed it as well, Julia, 2019. It's just lovely. And the story behind this is just brilliant. Magnus was teething. He hadn't eaten a thing all day. He was cranky as anything. Jules turned up after work. She said, oh, I'm going to come around to the shop. I was like, oh, brilliant, thank you. Vic was there as well. Neither of them were working. They were just coming to hang out. I was on my own. It got to the point in the shift where it was just me running the shop, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. But between 5 and 7 on a Wednesday, I'm working on my own. And he really needed to eat something. All he had was kibble. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get him some wet food in the hope that he eats something. So I said, look, can one of you just grab some food? And they were like, no, you go. It'll only take you 5 minutes. Go on, you know, just take your time. It'll be fine. Go and get some food. We're all right here. I mean, Vic's still trained, obviously. And I was like, well, and I said, no, honestly, no, I can't leave you. I can't leave the shop. They said, yeah, go on, go. So I went and I went for it. I went so fast. I've never walked so fast. Really felt bad that I was leaving the shop with people who weren't actually scheduled to work. Obviously it could work. It's not a problem, but still. And then I came back. I was as fast as I could. And I came back and rather than being on the sofa, they were kind of on the floor and Magnus was being held. And I was like, oh my God, has he been all right? And they went, yeah, it's been fine. I did not believe that for a moment. I was horrified. I was like, oh God, he's been really naughty. He's, you know, not done as they've told him. I was like, oh God. Turns out that while I was charging up to Tesco's as fast as I could go, Jules had got the plate and got some paint from the pottery place where you could paint your own plate, and had enlisted Vic's help. And that's why Vic was there. I'd enlisted her help to paint Magnus's paw and get the paw print. So in the 10 minutes that I was out of the shop, they had to paint his paw, get the paw print, clean his paw, do the other paw, clean it all up, put it away safely so it didn't get damaged before I got back, and I was really fast. And Jules, when she gave me the plate, went, "You were so fast. Why were you so fast?" And Magnus apparently also had wriggled out of their grasp while this was being done to him, and had trotted around the shop. So they'd been going back around the shop with baby wipes, cleaning up this pottery paint, muddy paw prints all around the shop. And I come back just as they got it into order. But I just think that is absolutely lovely. I haven't done pottery painting in a very long time. I did some at Jersey Pottery on a family holiday years ago, and I think, God, I must have been 14-ish. So again, nearly 20 years ago. And I wasn't very good, but I actually kind of quite like to try it. Have any of you done any pottery painting, or are you potters? Do you do anything like that, ceramics? I would absolutely love to hear about it and to see. I'm going to put a comment in the Facebook group, but do put comments below and share your pictures. That'd be awesome. So after Christmas, we went down to Devon to spend time with my in-laws, which was really lovely. We had some really long walks with Magnus, which was really fun, around Cockington. He got to see lots of other dogs, and it was just a really lovely time. I didn't do much. I did a little bit on the 5 p.m. cardie, but I didn't do anything on it since then because I kept being told not to do it because I was on holiday. So I did some crochet. We watched lots of films. We caught up. Yeah, I think we pretty much caught up on the Marvel films. Is it Endgames or the last one where it's all of them together? I don't know. But anyway, it was really good. And it feels a bit like the end of an era. I was in uni when the first Iron Man came out. And so I think was I in my first year or my second year? I think I might have been my first year of uni. So it's about 2005-ish when the first Iron Man, or 2006 when the first Iron Man came out. And I remember actually it was slated. I hadn't wanted to go to see it because I'd read the reviews and the critics were really cruel and they'd slammed it and said Robert Downey Jr. was an idiot, and my then boyfriend and his housemates, well, we're going to go. Do you want to come or not? And I was like, all right then, okay, fine, I'll come. I am so glad I did. It was brilliant. And look, the whole thing has just carried on, and this whole Avengers universe has kind of come off the back of it. So I guess don't worry about what people say. If you think something's good, keep going, try it. Why not? I mean, we can learn a lot from Iron Man, I'm sure. Yeah, so we watched that and that was really good. Watched those and then came back, did a bunch of batch cooking. I'm going to put some recipes onto my blog. Batch cooking I like to do because it just makes life easier when we're back at work and it's cold and miserable and I don't want to slave over a hot stove. I just want to heat something up and off we go. Packed and got ready to go again. And I went up to Scotland with Magnus. We stopped off at Mia's, who is Brambles and me. She put us up for the night because pretty much just over the halfway point. So we had dinner with her and played some games, which was really fun. And then on the Monday, I went up to Whistlebear, where Magnus was actually born, and we saw Magnus's real mummy and his auntie Audrey, the Great Dane. She was very excited to see him, and barked her excitement. He wet himself. he was oh. She was very, very excited to see him, and his mum Letty was very sweet as well. There was a little bit of uncertainty, but then it was a bit of face licking, which was really cute, really lovely. And he played with Alice's younger son, and he just loved it. He knew where he was. He was so happy to be there, and I felt a bit worried when I was driving up. I was thinking, God, what if taking him away again upsets him? He was fine. He was ready to come away. It was good. We spent an hour there, which was lovely, and then carried on up to Scotland. And at the last minute, my accommodation fell through. So I thought I was going to have to come back the next day. So I messaged some friends to see who was around and what we could do. And I was very, very lucky in that one of my friends offered me and Magnus a bed for the night because I was trying to find a hotel. And then actually offered, I ended up staying with friends for my holiday. So I still got my holiday, which was great. It was a bit of a comedy of errors and I was a bit stressed at that point, but no, it was really, really good. And I saw Amy and I saw Lisa, who's For the Love of Yarn. Marcus and I caught up. He took a half day from work and we went across to Glasgow to Celia McWheely's shop, which I've been desperate to go to basically since I knew it was happening, which was when she did the Kickstarter campaign, which I'm a very proud supporter of. And it was just lovely. Magnus was in Home from Home, obviously. You know, we went to Lisa's studio For the Love of Yarn, and then we all went together to Katie's. Magnus just made himself right at home. I'm sure you've seen the pictures on Instagram. And yeah, we spent a whole afternoon there knitting and nattering, and I got some acquisitions. I'll show you what I got actually. I am this year, because I've got quite a lot of stash, and because I'm trying to be a sensible adult and save up. Basically, I'm saving up to take the project bag to the next level, and also because I want to plan for the future, and in the future I'm hoping to have a studio in the garden. I'll tell you all about that. But I also want to do some DIY around the house. The bathroom needs redoing and things like that, so I'm trying to save. Therefore I'm on a strict yarn budget this year. I'm going to try and knit my stash from other dyers, but I'm also going to try and knit more in the project bag yarns because I don't do that enough. Weirdly, I kind of feel like it's stealing if I do that, and it's self-indulgent to knit in my own yarns, but there we are. Anyway, I digress. So what I'm doing, and I started this towards the tail end of last year, is if I go anywhere, I buy a mini as a souvenir of my trip. A bit like I used to buy rubbers. They used to have really good ornate rubbers back in the day. They don't have them anymore. That you're lucky if you can get a rainbow one or a book these days, but I have quite the rubber collection. But I thought, well, if I get minis, then I can put them into my granny stripe and it becomes, I guess it's going to sound all sentimental and squishy, isn't it? But it is what it is. It becomes like a memory blanket, a little map of yarny adventures. So I actually fell for a pack of minis from Celia, from Katie. These are the they're packaged in biodegradable cellulose because we only have one planet Earth. Each skein is 42 meters. There's 50 grams in total, 5 10-gram micro skeins of hand dyed yarn in 75/25 merino nylon. And these are the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy collection. From this side, we've got Arthur, Marvin, Trillian, 2 Aphod and Ford. I haven't seen or read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I am probably absolutely butchering that. But I might read it and maybe watch it when I get to doing these minis. Who knows? I also bought a braid of fibre for my friend Amy. She has been feeling a bit down in the dumps. She's moved house, which is amazing. Her house is beautiful, but broken her foot and her knitting mojo's abandoned her, but she's doing a bit of spinning. So I bought a braid of fibre for her in colours that I know she's keen to use in her home. Obviously, I've already gifted that to her, so I haven't got it with me to see. But then Magnus chose me this. Do you know, these aren't really my colours. They're beautiful. It's not really my colours, but actually, I don't know. What do you think? Might suit me? Or it could become a hat.